Hello everybody, and welcome in this series of videos, the aim of which is to get you familiar with the very basics of calligraphy. So as an introductory word, calligraphy from the Greek kalos, which means nice, beautiful, and graphane, so graphane, grapho, I write, writing, so you already know calligraphy is the art of writing beautifully. So, as I said, my aim is really to show you the very basics, get you familiar with it, so as to get started rather easily and without too much toil. There are gonna be 3 videos in this series, if everything goes as planned, of course. So the first video you're watching now is about tools and material you are required to have if you want to practice calligraphy. In a second video, you will get familiar with how to prepare the paper and everything you are supposed to do before starting a writing session. We'll come back in details on this in the second video, and the third one is practice, of course, finally. So there are, let's say, there are 3 basic tools you're required to have: paper, nibs, and pen holder, of course, and the ink. So I'll give you advice on it and also show you what I usually use. And also one remark I forgot at the very beginning. Again, all these videos are intended to show you about calligraphy. It's not about lettering. We all know lettering is very popular in the US right now, but much less in Europe and especially in France, where I'm talking you from. Okay, let's start with the easiest one, which is the paper. Here you can see the paper I usually use for most of my work. There comes in different size and formats, but you can choose what you really prefer, what is most convenient for you. So it's better to have A4 and A3 format at least, but of course you're free to use any size you may find useful for you here. The very important thing to look at is this, the weight of the paper. So here you see it's 90 grams by square meter, because the risk if you choose a paper which is too thin, this is gonna happen. So this is just a draft paper. We use it to try our nib just to see if it's working correctly, and you see this is gonna happen here. So in fact, with normal paper, in fact it's too thin and your paper is going to drink your ink and squeeze it every way, which gives absolutely awful results. So take thicker paper than usual, not too thick, though it's also possible. Then, once you have the paper, you need something to write. So here you see different writing tools that we use in calligraphy, but I focus mainly on those ones in the middle, which are the pen holders. But of course, calligraphy can be practiced and was practiced at the beginning with reed pens. So you see different models here, and as always, there comes in different sizes and shapes. You have pointed ones here, and these are squares. You can also use a feather, which the tip of which has to be shaped and cut a specific way, as you see here. But we leave these aside for now, just to show you that we have a wide variety of tools at our disposal. So regarding pen holders, you will come across a wide variety of them. So I have no specific advice to give you, just check that they are strong enough for your work, and then it's only a matter of personal choice. So these ones here are rather thin and very classical ones. This one is a bit thicker, as you see, but still very comfortable to use. This one imitates ancient models. Still nice to have once you start collecting them. And this one may seem rather strange for you. In fact, it's used for the copperplate writings, but we'll come back on it later. It's in fact to help you keep the slant angle of the copperplate, which is of 54 degrees. But anyway, we're coming back on this later. Let's talk about the nibs now. So for the nibs, there are of course also thousands and thousands of different types. So what you see here is really a very small sample of nibs. But despite the wide variety, you have to know that there are only two types of nibs for calligraphy. Either square nibs, that's all these ones here, and pointed nibs here at the top. Here, these ones are on the sides, but you see they have a round tip, so they are round nibs. So no, they are not specifically calligraphy nibs, but can be used anyway for some kinds of letters, of shapes, or ornaments anyway. So just to let you know that these nibs exist and can be used, but there are no proper calligraphy nibs. So the pointed ones at the top are mainly used for thin writing, such as copperplate, which I mentioned before, or the Spencerian, which is the American equivalent, and also all traditional writings from 19th and 20th century. So here you have a nib specifically designed for the copperplate writing, which is not my favorite one though. Here you have the most popular French nib, because it was used in all schools during 20th century and probably even before, which is the Sergent Major. Then you have the Steno, Rose, Hunt 101 nibs, and two vintage French nibs, the Gloire de Boulogne, I guess, and the Tremplin nibs. So you may ask what's the difference between all of them. I'll say just you have to try them and select your favorites, because in fact the difference is about their softness. For example, this one, the Sergent Major, is rather hard when you push on it, whereas the Rose here is extremely soft. So you can have thick writing with it when pushing down. So maybe that's a bit too abstract for now, but anyway, that's how it works. Also, another difference is how much ink can they hold. So here, in fact, this one, you may guess this one, you have to reload rather frequently, whereas the Steno or the Hunt are excellent nibs for your writing. This one is more precise than the Steno, so in fact you have to try and select what you prefer. If we look now at the square nibs, so all these ones, so I removed the round ones for now. The square nibs are the common nibs for calligraphy that we use for all historical alphabets from Roman time to nowadays, in fact. So you see that they are called square because their tip is squared. That's obvious, and they all comes in different sizes. So here, if we look here, the prose nibs, so this one is the widest one, 5 millimeter. So you get very big letters, whereas here you have 2.5 mm, and this one is just 2 millimeters. It's always, the size is always written on the nibs. So I start with this one. So they are called Banzung nibs. They are from Germany. They are very hard nibs, very solid, and excellent for all types of writings, especially for the Gothic writings. Then you have the tape nibs from England, which are, I guess, the best one if you start in calligraphy, because they are not too hard like the Banzung from Brosa, or not too soft like the William Mitchells here. So maybe it's a good choice to start with them, but of course you have to try and make your own opinion on it. Now looking at the William Mitchell's nibs, as I said, they are from England, and their name indicates it easily. The thing is that they are soft, and there comes with a separate reservoir which has to be attached at the bottom of the nib. And all other ones, the reservoir is the little thing here that you see at the top. Here you can remove it. On the speedball nibs, it is fixed, you cannot remove it. Whilst you add, the William Mitchells are very soft, and so intended for very classical calligraphies. They are especially well adapted for the round script, which is a French one. And the speedball nibs are American nibs, very high quality. They are made of brass, if I'm not mistaken. And also one difference, if you look on the other side here, well, it's hard to see. I take this one. In normal nibs, if we took the Banzung, if you look closely, in fact, we have two plates. You have two different plates separating at the tip of the majority of nibs. But on the speedball ones, you have in fact 3 blades, which increases the accuracy and also the softness of writing. So yeah, that's it. For the first exercise in the third video, we'll be using square nibs, of course, because pointed nibs requires already some experience and some techniques. They may not be intended for beginners or absolute beginners. Finally, you need ink to load your nib with. First thing, with the ink in Latin calligraphy, do not use India ink. Forget absolutely about India ink. You may ask why, and the answer is very easy, is that Indian ink is too thick for this kind of calligraphy. For Chinese, Japanese, or even Arabic calligraphy, it's no problem. You can use India ink for that, though I'm not specialist of it. But for Latin calligraphy, you just cannot use India ink. You can try, but you'll see you'll be almost always disappointed with your results. The reason is simple, is that India ink is too thick for this kind of work. It lacks precision, and the big problem is that it's gonna clog your nibs and make them almost impossible to clean. Yeah, by the way, always remember to clean your writing nibs after a writing session. So just wash them under cold water and dry them immediately with a paper, otherwise they'll get rusty, and that will be too bad. So for the ink, the rule is just to use a non-waterproof ink. And all these inks, all you see here, are non-waterproof, except probably for this one and the walnut ink. I'm coming back on it later. These are among my favorites, my favorite inks. So here you have the classical ones. So it comes here in red. You have black, blue, which are the classic colors. Red is really, really elegant, and they are made, I think, like in ancient time. They are made originally. Yeah, what else to add? Except that they are rather nice inks for beginners, and non-waterproof again. And there was last thing. Yeah, forgot about it. No, probably was not important. Above you have inks that are specific from France, which are Herbin ink, and these also are excellent ones. Because they have a wide variety of colors, and also you can have shellac inside. There is always shellac added in these ink, so that you can write longer with them. So here you have one of the most famous one, the Black Pearl, and it's rumored that Victor Hugo himself wrote some of these masterpieces with the Black Pearl ink. Here you have the violet ink, which was used at school during 20th century. It was exactly the same ink used in all schools in France until 1967, I think. Here you have another color, which is the Indian orange. They are all these ink have a specific name, so here Indian orange, why not? Something similar to the Herbin ink are the Sennelier ink, almost the same, but they contain more shellac inside, so they are more shiny, in fact. And I I think that it's just my point of view, but I guess they are not suitable for all kind of work for calligraphy. If you have to be precise, you can use Herbin on these ones, but probably not Sennelier. If you need an excellent ink, it's rather difficult to find, because I know only one place when you can buy such an ink in France. It's the encre ferrique, which is the iron ink, the ink from the Middle Ages. It's very precise. When you write, you get a gray text, and then it gradually turns black, and it lasts in time. It's really an excellent ink, very suitable for the copperplate when you start. And also another good choice, finally, is the walnut ink, which is suitable for calligraphy, art, a classic reference. Good choice, nice colors for some effects. So you see, you have choice, but avoid India ink and choose non-waterproof ink. Alright, that's it for the basic tools and material you need before starting calligraphy. Of course, you also need some additional material, but I guess you already have them at home, like pencils. Just do not choose a pencil which is too hard, so 2B or HB are a good choice for it. Have also a ruler at hand, a rubber, and draft paper, which is used to check your nib is working properly. And a good choice also is to have how is it called, blotting paper at hand, so as to absorb ink in case of catastrophe. A final piece of advice before ending. I strongly suggest you to have a pen holder, a nib holder, nib support, and in my case, just this kind of thing, which is really easy to find. So it's just moss, as you see. And the thing is that once you have finished a writing session, so as to avoid clogging and putting ink everywhere on your table, on your clothes, you just put your nib like this, and it won't move, won't roll away, which is really simple one, simple trick, but nice to keep to have it in mind, so as to avoid some catastrophes after a writing session or even during it. You do not want to destroy what you're writing with a rolling nib. Okay, that's it for this first video about tools and the basics, what you need. So next time, in the next video, we'll be looking at the alphabet we're going to work with, which is the foundational hand. And I'll show you how to prepare the paper, your tools, before any writing sessions, and how to interpret the information you're given on reference sheets. So see you in the second video.